So guys, with the launch of Chapter 4 Season 2, there have been a bunch of new map changes, and I want to go over in today's video the top 5 best solo drop spots for you guys to pop off in solo cash cups, solo arena, and various different solo events. Now I'm really excited to make this video considering that I love these new map changes. I think the brand new biome and all the new POIs that we got are extremely valuable and have a really cool aesthetic to it. And I'm really excited to explain to you guys what 5 drop spots I like the most. Now I'm going to be going from the order of least contested to most contested, so that's how it's generally going to be structured. But be sure to use code SonataYT in the Fortnite item shop if you guys do want to support me or if you're buying the battle pass. But let's hop right into this video. So I want to start off by going over a smaller POI by the name of Restful Retreat. Now Restful Retreat is essentially a small little island off to the right side of the map. It's a pretty solid area if you guys want to be uncontested most of the time, and it's going to be having plenty of different benefits. Starting off, it's going to have 7 chests, 1 hollow chest, 1 slurp truck. It's also going to have 8 slurp barrels, 1 slap barrel, 2 geysers that you guys can use for rotation, and then plenty of metal in the POIs nearby or from the slurp barrels and the slurp truck that you guys are farming. Now obviously this POI has plenty of benefits. Obviously the slurp truck is going to be extremely valuable for you guys so you can save your shield. Also the fact that you have a hollow chest is going to allow you to get really high quality and rarity items pretty much off the rip. And then also the fact that you have 8 slurp barrels and 1 slap barrel is going to give you the ability to sprint around the map after you blade the slap barrel last, and also get metal from the slurp barrels. The geysers are really solid for rotation because you can pretty much rotate all the way to the mega city with these geysers, and then from there you can rotate even further. So this POI is really solid for those of you that want to land somewhere really not that contested, but with a good amount of loot that will sustain you, and also give you a good amount of materials and give you a good amount of shield as well, with not too bad of a rotation. And the final quick benefit of this POI is that these bamboo structures that you guys can farm give you pretty much the same amount of wood as those pallets do. So you're going to be maxing out on wood pretty quickly at this POI, and pretty much any POI that has bamboo in it. So guys, for my second best POI, I'm going to be going over Hilltop Temple. Now this place isn't actually named on the map yet. I'm just assuming that Fortnite.gg has not got around to actually naming it yet. But I'm going to be calling it Hilltop Temple because it's basically a small little temple really close to Frenzy Fields. And this temple is going to be having 8 chests, 1 hollow chest, 4 coolers for you guys to get slurp juices and slap juices. Also 3 slurp barrels, 1 slap barrel, and plenty of metal. This place is really good for metal because you guys can go around the various different locations and farm a lot of metal from it. I like this place a lot because it's really not that contested and it's a really solid place for you guys to actually max out on materials. There's bamboo close to this place. It's really easy to get around. It's also pretty central, so rotation won't be that difficult. There's cars nearby if you guys want to rotate with that. Another extreme benefit of landing here is that you're going to be having a lot of different access points to Steamy Springs. Steamy Springs is one of the biggest, most contested new POIs that actually came out. And if you guys want to try to W key, you can rotate over to there and then farm and kill people there. There's also the opportunity for you guys to fish at the nearby Whispering Waters. You can go over there and you can fish really easily. It's a really solid overall place to actually land and loot. But Hilltop Temple is once again another low-key contested spot that's not going to be too contested for you guys to land and actually pop off in the game. Now the next POI is going to be known as Lotus Lookout. This is similarly another small little island off the coast of the main island. This is going to be more south though. It's going to be near the bottom of the map. Lotus Lookout is going to be having 12 really good chests. They're also going to have 2 coolers, 2 slap barrels, plenty of metal for you guys to actually use, and there's going to be some swords nearby that you guys can go to and use for rotation. Now, in my personal opinion, the new katana and sword items have been basically the replacement for the hammer. They help you rotate really quickly, and they're actually really good at you guys W keying. So if you want to get them, they're really close nearby, and you can just go and pick them up. But this Lotus Lookout area is really solid because of the amount of really interesting things that it has. There's plenty of bamboo, so you guys can easily max out on wood, but also it has quite a bit of metal because of the slurp barrels, the slap barrels, and there's also different metal structures that you guys can easily farm. And for brick, it's also very solid because there's a bunch of different bricks on the various different coastline areas of the island, and you guys can easily farm there without any issue. That's why I generally think that the overall new biome is very solid because it's a really good, well-rounded mix of metal, wood, and brick. Lotus Lookout's also a really good place for you guys if you want to try to land somewhere very low-key that's not going to be as contested, but a place that also gives you really good access to the river system. Lotus Lookout's actually connected to the river system that passes through Steamy Springs, so if you do land here, you're very likely to actually get a very good rotation out and into Steamy Springs if you guys want a W key. You have a bunch of different options from this POI. You can rotate dead side using boats. You can easily find a way to rotate using a car if you can find one. Overall, it's a really solid place for those of you guys that want to land somewhere very low key and want to actually pop off with a little bit more loot than the previous 2 drop spots. So for the next drop spot, we're going to be moving into a little bit more contested of a POI. This is going to be the racetrack. Now this is really good because it obviously for me brings back nostalgic vibes back from chapter 1 when there was 2 racetracks in the game, but I'm really excited that this racetrack type of POI is back because not only is it really nostalgic and makes you feel really good when you're playing on it, it's also extremely stacked for loot. Racetrack is going to be having 25 chests, 1 hollow chest, a slurp truck so you guys don't need to use any shield. It's also going to be having 5 coolers for you guys to get slurp juice and slap juice, 9 slurp barrels and 4 slap barrels. It's going to have 2 vending machines, plenty of metal, swords nearby for you guys to actually use, and overall it's a really solid way for you guys to land and for you guys to actually get loot and pop off throughout your game. Now the really big benefit of racetrack is getting obviously a bunch of metal. There's a bunch of different metal structures, there's a bunch of different metal areas that you guys can farm. There's also a lot of wood and brick, of course. Racetrack also has a really good line of sight access to Mega City. You guys can easily rotate there and get a lot of eliminations. However, you can easily rotate into other parts of the map. You have pretty good proximity to Anvil Square. You can rotate over to Slappy Shores. Rotating anywhere from this POI is really simple, and it's a really solid place for you guys to actually land if you don't want to land an POI, but you want to land somewhere really solid. And also, I think a really big part of solos that people overlook is that splitting drop spots is actually really easy. So if you guys alpha up the correct part of this drop spot, you don't actually need to get the whole thing because it is likely that you're going to be contested by around 1 to 2, maybe even 3 people. A lot of people that fail for their drop at Mega City will go here as a cop-out, but if you master the drop spot better than they do and get a better drop, learn where the loot spawns are, you're definitely going to be better at placing in this drop spot than they are. So overall, racetrack's really solid for those of you guys that want to land somewhere that's not a named POI but still has a lot of loot. And now for my final drop spot, guys, I want to go over the one and the only Mega City. Now, I'm not going to be going over any of the stats and the loot for this drop spot because obviously if you guys go to this drop spot, you know that it's completely stacked. This is the biggest drop spot Fortnite has ever gotten. This is the size of 3 normal drop spots. It's absolutely gigantic, and there's so much loot here to the point where it doesn't really even matter where you guys land. However, there is one thing that I want to focus on explaining. Since this drop spot has everything, I will focus more on explaining how to land here and get out alive rather than trying to get the best loot. You should choose a building to land at, and what I mean by that is one specific building. I'd recommend you choose one on the edges of the city. Then I recommend that you guys don't try to win the POI, try to just loot and then get any eliminations you can from your building. Then you guys can easily rotate. Unless obviously you have the ability to win the POI, for example, if you're a semi-pro or you're one of the best fighters, then I recommend that you guys don't try to win Mega City because there's just so many people to the point where it's so difficult for you guys to actually win it. If you do, you'll be eliminated a lot. Unless you're a really good player, then there's kind of some acceptance for you guys to land there and actually try to win the POI just based off your W keying. This place also has a couple of different vending machines, but these vending machines are a little different. A lot of them are actually really cheap, really good vending machines for stuff like shotguns, for stuff like really good meds. You guys can buy slurp juices here. This is a really solid place. Mega City is by far one of the best POIs we've ever seen. And also, I'd say the biggest addition is that this POI has a vault. Now, I'm not exactly sure if vaults are within competitive right now. However, it's still really valuable to consider it because I think that vaults are going to be coming into the season eventually. So I think Mega City is going to become even more of a contested POI than it already is. But overall, that's a really good stacked named POI that you guys can land at as long as you split it and loot it the correct way and get out alive. It's really not that bad, especially for solos because you really don't need that much loot for solos. But guys, those are my 5 best solo drop spots going from the least contested to the most contested within this brand new Chapter 4 Season 2. If you guys did enjoy this video, I please recommend you guys to drop a like and leave a comment letting me know how much you liked it. Consider subscribing to the channel because we're actually on our way to 15K right now and we're almost there. But anyways guys, that's about it for this video. I will see you all in the next video and I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.